Welcome to another episode of Level Up Russellville. Today we have our good friend Spaceman representing the Latimore Tourist Home. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Good to see you guys this morning.
Yeah, thanks for coming out here. I had the privilege of speaking to you last week. You guys were doing a fundraiser at Stobie's.
Yeah, great day.
So,
great day.
Like I was telling you, I usually take my son to play basketball at the local park, and I had seen the house, the project, and it's such a small world, and now you're here and you're kind of like leading this project, so that's great to have you here. So tell us a little bit about you. You have a little backstory, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, I'm not born and raised, but really raised here in Russellville, Arkansas. I came here in 1964. I graduated from Russellville, spent a little time at Arkansas Tech, and have enjoyed the future that's coming, and really excited about it, and really proud about our past here in the River Valley.
Yeah. Awesome. And what do you say you're excited for the future that's coming? Like, how do you see Russellville in the future?
Our town is growing, and with that, we need to include history. We have so much history here in the River Valley that's really not known about. And, the Latimore Tourist Home is one of those things that's very important. It's a part of our history that we could not let it pass by. We couldn't let it just fade away. History is a really good thing, and unless you tell it, it just sits there dormant. Yeah. And, it just opened up so many eyes here in the River Valley. And we want people to understand how rich our history is. Okay.
So like we were talking a little bit earlier, and like, how has the process been of like working with the project, and how did you get involved? Like, how did it come about?
It came about with some simple words from our former mayor. Mayor Harris said, "I would like to see something done with that house." Started people to thinking about what this house really meant to our River Valley and what it meant to our state and nationally. During the not so good times, during the Jim Crow era, this was the only house that a person of color could stop and feel comfortable and rest and get a good meal between Little Rock and Fort Smith. Okay. Now, younger people would think, Little Rock, Fort Smith, that's not that far. It won't take you that long to get there. But we're talking, during the Jim Crow era, we're talking where you didn't have cars that would travel at 100 miles an hour. We're talking that a black person was lucky to have a mule, was lucky to have anything that would take him anywhere. So, it was different times back then. Yeah. So to have a place where you could stop, to have a place that was known, and that's where the Green Book comes in. To have a place that was registered, that you knew you were safe, was important back then. And the people, Mr. Latimore and his wife, were humanitarians, and they were possibly involved with saving a lot of lives during that time. Definitely. So, just the magnitude of it, if you really think about it, how many people came through there over these years. It was in function from the 1940s to the middle of 1970, all this happening. So, day in and day out, people stopping, truckers, people that went to school. It's weird how it ties in with so much black history, because during that time, people, if you were black and you lived, say, in Danville, you went to school in Marlton. Okay. So think about getting up that early, coming through Russellville, Dardanelle, picking up black students, and having to go to Marlton. That's pretty daunting for a young person. And think about if you played football. Now, football practice probably ends about 5:30 or 6. That bus left at 4 o'clock going back to Danville. How were they going to get home? How were they going to come down a highway with no lights, being black during the Jim Crow era, and get home safely? they had courage beyond belief because
Yes.
I
Yes,
consider myself, whatever guy, but I'm not going to do that, So during that time, they had this place they knew they could get to. They could get to the Latimore house. Truckers were there that owned black trucking agencies, knew their time schedule, come down Highway 64 because there was no interstate. Pick these kids up, get them to a safe place. Their parents would come and pick them up halfway. But, it all ties in with the humanity of this home,
Yeah.
how they opened their doors, not only to blacks, but to anyone that needed help at that time. So, it's really important that our community, our state, and our nation know that, this is one of the most important houses during that time.
Well, that's incredible. Even just listening to you gives me like a kind of like the chills. Like I put myself in situations like imagine me or my son just going from point A to B, and then there's uncertainty in between.
There's uncertainty.
Is he going to make it? Is he going to be in trouble? Is something going to happen?
I mean, traveling during that time, I lived that, but I didn't know it then.
Yeah.
And I would wonder. Now I wonder how do we even function without these phones?
Yeah.
My dad didn't even have a map. He trusted people to tell him which way to go. As far as Iowa, I remember going to Iowa, and I'm like, how did we even get there? So these places that we stopped at were in that book, and I never knew it then, but it all makes sense now.
So you mentioned the Green Book?
Yes.
So your family had one then?
Yes. Oh, yeah. My father, he liked to travel, and there was no map, but, there was a telephone. But, I often wonder how these people were so resilient, how our people were so resilient, so trusting, and through everything they went through, they still made good out of bad. Wow. And the Latimore Tourist Home is a perfect example of that. It is, it's just nowhere in our part of the River Valley was there anything like this, and growing up, I'm seeing this happen. I'm seeing trucks and grown men coming in and out. But I'm just like, I'm like any other child. I really don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but now as you get older, you start kind of getting
after you mature a little bit and start thinking about your community in a positive manner and trying, like I say, we had fathers and grandfathers that when I was 5 or 6 years old, they started working on something for us to have that would last us 40 or 50 years. And they did that. James Park is the example of that. So now, we've taken on the task of giving our grandkids and our kids something to be proud of for the next 50 years, where when they mature, they can figure out what they want to do to take another step forward. But I think this Latimore project that we have is going to be one of the platforms that these kids have to stand on and keep our history going.
Yeah, I think this is great. I think that more than a project, you're thinking legacy.
Yes.
Like you're going to leave something that they can take it to the next level and learn from history, so they can know where they're headed.
Yes.
In a sort of ways.
This won't be a sitting house. For years it was dormant. It just sat there, and raccoons were the tenants and cats, and we're not going to let that happen. This is going to be a functioning house where you can come, where people that are not so fortunate, maybe during the winter or late summer evenings, they can get something to eat. Working with kids and food for kids, and having people that will come in and tutor after school, and just anything that our community or our city is needing at that time, we want to be able for them to look to us to provide it. As far as kids go, we're all in, all open, whatever they need.
That's great, man. So what plans do you guys have right now to, let's say, for grand opening, or what do you guys need?
That's a
What's
little
in the
bit
works right
down the
now?
road, but right now we're so excited that we're beginning our phase where we're going inside the house and remodel. Well,
Yeah,
not remodeling, but restructuring,
like restoring it.
refurbishing it, restoring it. We're right in the middle of that right now. We've just put a roof on. If you go by there, you can see that we have the roof. Our goal is to make this house as close as possible without replacing anything to what it was then. And remarkably, the house was in great shape. It was in great shape. So it's
Yeah,
deplenished a little bit. It's over 100 years old, but we're really excited about what our plans for it are, and we hope our community will be accepting and come by and spread the word. And that's where we're at right now. We're inside of the house, but outside of the house, we're spreading the word.
yeah.
We're getting people involved. We have a great group of people: Betsy McGuire, Julie Palladino, Jane Pittman. We have Suzanne Alford Hodges, Marshall Morris, Margaret Bagby, who's our treasurer, Steve Bennett. We call him the Swiss knife. Bob Hegel, he's a great guy that handles a lot of our architectural work and stuff. And so we've got a great group of people, man, and plus our volunteers, like Toy Drummer and other people. The Gilkeys, they've just stepped in and they've helped us out so much. And we just want to keep this momentum going. We'll be set up this evening at the Presbyterian Church right down here for the Spring Walk, Spring Art Walk. You can come through and get lots of information there. If you want to volunteer for something, our arms open. That's another thing. We ran into a great group of kids out at Arkansas Tech that came in and really, we just now met them, but they're coming in and they're giving us youthful ideas. They're so involved with what we're doing. So we're happy about the youth that's came in and helped us also.
That's great. I think I love that, because when I was at the restaurant for the fundraiser, I saw all kinds of people, different shades, colors, everybody
Yes.
happy, everybody smiling for
Yes.
this one project.
Yes.
So you felt the warmness, like people want this to happen. I think it's time to put this information out there, like you said, for future generations, because that's, if we understand history, we know where we're headed, and maybe even learn from it and what not to do. Be more, embrace each other, support each other, because it's a hard past. you know?
Yeah. But we all need to know it. We got to know the good and the bad to understand, which direction we need to go. And that's why we want our youth to understand how important it is to save this history and tell it. History is history.
Yeah.
I mean, if it happened, it happened. So we want them to know that good things happen out of bad eras, and this is living proof of it.
Yes, it is. So, is there anything you wanna, like, maybe I don't know if you guys need, I don't know, people to partner with you guys, or if there's anything you guys are looking for this to.
We need people to love it, but like I explained before, love for this project won't make it happen. It all comes down to dollar bills.
Yeah.
It all comes down to helping us out any way you can. We appreciate it. If you pick up a leaf, we appreciate all the help we get. But if you're out there and you can help us out in any kind of financial way, our doors are always open. We meet every second Tuesday of the month at City Hall, 12 noon. It's a public meeting. We're always excited when we have visitors that come in.
Like anyone can come?
Anyone.
It's open to the public?
Anyone. It's open to the public.
Second Tuesday of every month at
12
City Hall. They can go and get more info, get involved.
Yes.
Okay.
You can get more info. You can get involved. We have a sign-up sheet. And like I say, if you're out and about today, come down to the Art Walk and meet some of us. We'll be down there from 6 to 9 at the Presbyterian Church, and we want to thank them for allowing us to set up in there and spread our information and spread the good news about the Latimore Tourist Home.
Okay, that's great. Now, how did you? I don't know if we mentioned it, but how did you just get involved in the project? Like, were you just
The
somebody
word
told you
had got
about
out
it?
that the house was about to be torn down, and you know how bad news spreads. It just, and
But you knew about this house, though.
oh yes,
It was sitting there, but you knew what it did back
yes,
40s through the 70s.
yes.
Okay.
And so I was just thinking one afternoon, man, I really sat down and thought about it, and I thought, what if tomorrow this house is gone? What if it's just gone? And there's nothing anybody can do about it. Can show pictures.
Yeah.
People didn't really even have pictures of this home. We can say, well, there used to be a house there that,
Yeah.
let me sit down, let me tell you about it. Saving it, having it where you can point at it, having people be able to walk in, and the first step they take into this home, they feel a spirit maybe come up through them. It puts them there in places, it lets them know, from a physical and from a viewing it, what went on and how things have changed. And there's little things in the house that, people probably wouldn't understand from these generations.
Yeah.
But small things like important numbers on the wall. A lot of people don't know. Older people would write the most important people in their life. They would write their numbers on the wall. In all the old houses, and this is one of the last ones, numbers on the wall, like the mayor, like the pastor, like Uncle Henry, or, and they're all on this wall, and they represent something. They represent a simple time.
Wow. So these numbers are on the wall.
These
inside the
numbers
house.
are still
Wow.
on the wall, and they're going to be there. That's going to be one of the things that we explain to people why they're written on the wall. Like people didn't get phone books.
Yeah.
It
was simpler times. Like, hey.
Simple times. What's Uncle Henry's number? And you write it down. So, when something bad happens, you don't have to, it's his number right there.
You go to the wall.
May not mean anything now, but, in those times, it was just like a cell phone. It was just like a cell phone.
And in those times, because it was uncertain, you don't have time to go look for a
didn't
paper.
have-
You're just run to the wall. We need to call somebody right now.
Absolutely.
So I kind of get.
It's just, and these people didn't make money bringing these people into their home.
That's a question I had with it. They offer,
No.
was it free? They fed everybody, shower.
They never made a cent. Do that today. Stay a week somewhere today. Get 3 meals a day. And see what the tally is at the end of the day. They never asked for a cent. And he grew the most remarkable cornfields ever. I mean, there is a picture of him standing in his cornfield, and it's just remarkable. It's just, he could do anything. He really could.
So it's probably maybe baking bread.
His daughter was my first grade teacher. The next year we integrated.
What year was this?
1965. I came here in 1964. In 1965 we integrated, and they did I guess it was a testing. They sent the black kids and they sent the poorer white kids to school together to test, to see how we would get along, and the school was right over here by, off of, I think it's right over here off of El Paso, right where the police station sits, right where Wendy's is now.
Okay.
There used to be a school there. It was called the White Mission. I went to school there, and I remember it vividly. We were mixed in. First time I've ever been around white kids, and I can look on the picture. I still have the picture today, and I can honestly say that I'm still friends with everybody on that picture. Honestly,
that's amazing.
I guess I guess we did okay. I guess we passed the test.
Yeah.
Because 60 years later, I can look at any of those people and honestly smile and say we went to school together, and they do the same thing. So, it was an important time in history, but I didn't know that. Here in Russellville, it was really
living
important. Just cruising along.
Yeah.
So that next year I went to Dwight Elementary, and can write the rest up, Everything wasn't rosy. I can't say that. I really can't, but James Park was a place where I felt at home. James Park was our park. It was our community. It was our park, and people took care of each other. We watched out for each other. We didn't have the basketball goals that we have now. We dug holes and put poles in them, and nailed up basketball goals and stuff. So, I've watched it grow. And the Latimore Tourist Home is just part of it. It's part of it. And that, along with the Corliss Trail coming through, our basketball courts have been redone. We've got a beautiful pavilion, and this is going to overlook it all.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Mr. Latimore saying, "Yeah, I like this."
That's great.
So I want everyone to take the time to think about your history. Like I say, it's easy to say something, but just think about something that maybe your grandfather or your grandmother gave you, and you put it away and you don't ever think about it. And after you get grown, you're like, gosh, I'm so glad I kept this. I'm so glad I just didn't throw this away. This no amount of money could buy this for me, because I can't replace it. So that's how we're at right now.
Yeah. No, I can relate. My grandfather passed away a few years ago, and I believe the house he built for my grandma was sold. But I'm gonna look into it. Maybe it'll be a good idea. To save it, because he built it with his own hands. So
Can't replace it.
I relate.
Can't replace it. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I always ask every guest, and I know you've already shared, but what would be a personal message that you would want to share to anyone watching? It could be anything about you. I always like people to kind of get to know who is in the podcast, So just a message out there. It could be anything you want,
We can't save the world all at once. It takes you wanting to do better. It takes you wanting to do better yourself. It takes you understanding yourself and really looking at yourself and saying, am I going to kid myself my whole life? Or am I going to, try to leave something behind, something good? Always keep children in mind. This thing we're tossing around, always keep children in mind. And I always try not to be this beautiful, great person where everybody says, oh, he's so great, try to be yourself, but try every day. This is what I say, and I don't always do it, but when I get up, I say to myself, I'm going to try to be the best person I can today. And I don't mean going out and standing on the rooftop and singing and all of that. I mean, when I see somebody, smile. Little things. Somebody's coming to the door, push it open for. I mean, it may be Boy Scout corny stuff, but that person may take it on somewhere else. You never know. But if you slam the door in that person's face, or if you scowl at that person and, you know, you're already ticked off at them for no reason, then guess what? They're going to be ticked off at somebody else for no reason.
It's like a domino effect.
So, you know, and it works in a good way too. So just don't, you know, I'm not trying to be no hero, but don't be no, you know, villain either.
Yeah.
Just keep yourself level and try to be the best you can. That's it.
That's amazing.
For me.
That's amazing. Well, before we end, where can we find more information about the project, the house, Facebook?
We got a Facebook page, the Latimore Tourist Home group page, and we also, you can contact us at the LatimoreTouristHome.org.
Okay. Is there any number too you could want to share?
Yeah, you can give this number. This is my number at 479-280-5215.
Okay.
We're always looking for volunteers. Always looking for money.
There you go. You need
And
money.
it's really hard to say that, you know, but honestly, people that understand. So
Yeah. What they say, money makes the world go around.
it makes the tourist home go up. That's
There
for
you
sure.
go. No, well, I really thank you for coming out and sharing your story and the project. And, you know, I know that a lot of good things are coming to Russellville. Me, myself, being a new part of this community, I am growing to love it more and just being part of it and just brighter future for my kids and everyone. So
That's good, man.
thank you for coming. And I'm sure we're going to be talking more and doing more things together.
Great,
So.
great. Look forward to it.
Well, guys, thank you for watching Level Up Russellville today. Thank you for just always supporting. Don't forget to share, comment, or like. We'll talk to you guys soon.